Hey, Mega Moms. Jessica Hensley here with Real Estate Mega Moms, where we help moms create a life and a business that they love. And today I'm going to be talking about New Year's resolutions, how to set them, and how to keep them. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. And I am so excited about what's to come in 2024. I myself have some pretty big goals for 2024, some really lofty goals, if I may say so myself. I'm really pushing my boundaries this year on my real estate front and my coaching business, and even on my health. I can look back at 2023 and I can see how I made some great progress. But I will say 2023 threw me for a loop. I don't know if it did anyone else, but I had some pretty major shifts in my real estate business and my coaching business. I had some staff changes on both, and partnership changes, and just, there was a lot that went on. And I think that it's always hard to go through change. It's always hard to have someone in your life for a season and then not in your life anymore. I mean, definitely, I just thank God for the time that we got to spend together. But that being said, it was a hard year for me. So I don't know if that was how anyone else felt, if you guys had this same experience. I know I've talked to a lot of you, and you felt like really 2023 was a year to survive. But 2024 is your year to thrive. And so, what I'm here today to talk to you about is how you can set realistic goals for yourself and resolutions for yourself in 2024, and then actually keep them. So, what I don't want you to do is set these amazing, crazy goals and then fail within a week or two and totally give up. So that's really the first point here actually I have is, if you are considering making a resolution, setting goals for yourself, make sure you're doing a realistic goal, one that you know is attainable. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean that you should think small. Like, I think that that's actually one of the biggest problems that we have as real estate moms specifically. We're afraid to think big because we're afraid that we'll fail ourselves, we'll fail other people. And so, we're afraid to reach for the stars sometimes, but don't don't think that setting realistic goals means you can't reach for the stars, because you can. But think about where you're at today and ask yourself, is it realistic for me to actually hold this resolution? So, for example, let's use health as an example, right? So, let's say you have had you haven't been eating healthy at all, you haven't been working out, and you're just, you're totally out of shape. Now, I would not set a goal to run a marathon within 3 months, right? I would not set a goal to lose 100 pounds in a year. Those are unrealistic goals and frankly unhealthy in my opinion. So, and I'm not a health expert, but that's just the quickest example I could think of. So instead, what you would want to do is you would want to think, okay, I'm at this state of being unhealthy. So my first step is going to be walking every day. My first step is going to be drinking enough water every day, right? Instead of thinking about, oh, I'm only going to eat 1,000 calories, or, I'm going to do this super restrictive diet. Like, you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure if you have a goal like that. So let's relate that to real estate. So maybe you haven't been closing as many transactions as you'd want to. You haven't been earning the income that you want to. So let's say maybe you closed, 5 houses last year. You wouldn't want to set a goal in 2024 to close 100. That would not be realistic. Okay. But you could set a goal. Okay, I want to go from closing 5 to closing 2 a month, or maybe 3 a month. Right. So, and then you're going to figure out how you can do that. Of course, we can help with that. We have systems and processes to take you through, so you can know exactly how many calls you need to make every day. How many appointments do you need to go on every week in order to reach your goals? And that's really where we come into play. And really, this is a point that I'm going to talk about later, but don't try to accomplish your goals alone. if there is a blueprint out there, if there is a coach out there, if there is a program out there that can help you, don't hesitate to join something like that to ensure your success. It's just like when you hire a coach for your health, right? You're gonna show up for yourself. I last year, 2022, actually not 2023, I hired a personal trainer, and I went to my personal trainer 3 times a week, day in, day out, or week in, week out, I should say. And in between, she held me accountable to my step goal that I needed to walk so many steps. I can tell you, while I had my personal trainer, I was like, I'd say a good 70%, right? I was, as far as my step goal and my eating, I was much more dedicated to my health and my eating habits when I had a coach, because I had somebody holding me accountable and I was paying them money to hold me accountable. The moment I dropped my coach, my health essentially went out the window. Now, yes, I've tried to maintain some of the habits that I learned while I was with her, but you're just not going to see the same results doing it alone versus doing it with a coach. So I would highly recommend, if you have some pretty big real estate goals, to look for a group, aka Real Estate Mega Moms. You're listening to us right now. We do have plans for you. We do have something really for every budget type, or even, join me in my downline. I have some amazing resources for every single member of my downline that they get coaching at no cost. So there's a lot of options for you, but the point is, we are here to help you. And I'm a mom, and this was all designed for moms to run their business while their kids are in school. All right, some other points that I wrote down here. You want to remove obstacles from your way as you're setting your goals for 2024. I want you to first be realistic with the goals. Think about what you can actually accomplish, what you can actually commit to, and then you need to remove the obstacles out of your way. So, as an example, going back to health, right? So you set a goal for yourself to eat healthy in 2024. So you should be going through your pantry and removing some of those temptations that where you're going to binge, chocolate or chips. Try to get them out of your way. And I know that's easier said than done with kids. Like, trust me, I get it. My son and my husband are not on the same diet plan I'm on, but it definitely makes it easier if I've put like a layer of difficulty to get to those items. So I'm removing the obstacle. Another example, like for real estate, maybe I want to remove the ability to binge watch some of my favorite shows. Maybe I want to delete Netflix for a while until I'm back on track meeting my goals, right? And I'm committing to actually having the number of conversations I need to have daily instead of whatever is distracting me from that. They have that saying, your distractions, let's see, how does it go? Your goals, don't let distractions keep you from your goals, basically. No, there's a much cleverer way to say this. I'll think of it and I'll post it later. But anyway, don't let your distractions keep you from attaining your goal. And so the way to do that is to eliminate those distractions from your life. Okay, so the next tip I have for reaching your goals in 2024 is to try habit stacking. If you haven't read Atomic Habits, I would highly recommend you read it. He talks in that book about habit stacking. So it's basically where you find a new habit that you want to form. So I'm going to use myself as an example right now. I have some health issues, and it's probably just because being overweight and maybe some genetics, but I have Hashimoto's and I have ulcerative colitis. Okay. Both of those are autoimmune issues. One of those is like the onset or, leading up to having an underactive thyroid. So because of that, I'm on the vitamins. It's not really medication yet. I'm not quite that full blown yet. But I have vitamins that I need to take daily, and I have a pretty strict diet that I really need to abide by in order to not go farther down this road. So I don't know about you, but I'm really bad about taking medicine of any kind. I've never been good at it at all. And it's just hard for me to stick to things. And so whenever I learned this habit stacking, it changed everything, because there are certain things that you do daily, right? So what do you do when you first get up? go to the bathroom, right? Maybe brush your teeth, maybe get a cup of coffee. So think about something that you do every day without having to think about it, and then attach a habit to it. So for me, when I brush my teeth, I'm going to grab a bottle of water or a cup of water and taking my vitamins at that time. When I drink my coffee, I'm reading my Bible first thing in the morning, right? So that you can attach a habit that you want to form to a habit that you already have. And don't try to do everything at once. That's the other thing I would probably say here is, pace yourself with your goals. That's okay. You don't have to like wake up January 1st, January 2nd, and oh, everything's changed. Like that's just not how it happens, right? But you can say, here's a list of things I want to accomplish in 2024. And within the first month, I hope to have mastered this thing. Within the first quarter, I hope to have accomplished this thing, whatever it is. So I would encourage you to think about your year more like that rather than, oh, I'm going to start all of these habits all at once and I'm not going to miss a day. And if I do miss a day, I'm going to beat myself up and then I'm going to throw in the towel and totally give up, right? That doesn't do you any good. So the other thing is, I didn't write this down, but last year I started reading my Bible through this Bible app, and I did it with a lot of you actually. Tara Lee Cobble, she created this thing called the Bible Recap, and she takes you through the Bible in a year, and it was amazing. I loved it. So she gave you like 3 or 4 chapters to read daily. You did it in the Bible app. You could do it with friends. You could talk about it. And then you listened to her podcast daily, and she gave you her take on what was just read. And she always had some amazing insights, things that I really didn't even think about. She really helped me think about the entire Bible in a different light. It was awesome. Well, I got off track. I mean, I'm being honest here. I'm very real and raw with you guys. I think you know that by now. But I did get off track last year, and I did not read my Bible every single day, and I did not listen to her podcast every day, and I did not stay on top of that app every day. So what I started to do was to say, I think it's about July, was when we were going through our move, is when I made had the biggest gap. I think there was like a 2-week gap that I didn't do anything because we were in the middle of changing our entire life. We sold our home, we moved into an RV, we're building a house that's probably going to take a lot longer than it should because we're the general contractors on it. We're trying to do it ourselves to save some money. But anyway, long story short, I got totally off of my routine and fell off of a lot of the things that I was doing. And so I could have thrown in the towel for this Bible app. But what I decided to do is I'm going to just go back into the app and I'm going to pick up on track. So like when I picked back up, let's say it was July 15th as an example, whatever was on the slate to read July 15th, I went ahead and read. And what I decided to do was give myself grace and to not beat myself up over missing days and just do the best I can every day. So every day I wake up and I read my Bible and I read whatever is on slot for that day. And I think of the total 365 days plan that she had outlined, I think I'm probably 65, 75 away from actually reading the Bible in its entirety this year. And I could, sit here and be ashamed about that, but I want you to know that that is my reality, and I did not give up. I continued on. And if I would have gave up in July, then I would only be halfway through. And so in 2024, I'm going to keep with that same mentality. I'm going to do the best I can every day, and every day is a new day. I know what I need to accomplish every day. Yes, I'd love to have a streak and have no interruptions. I would love to have a 10-point day every day. But if I have a 5-point day, that's okay. It's better than a 0 point. And it doesn't mean that tomorrow has to be 0. Tomorrow could still be 10, even though today wasn't that great. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because I think sometimes we get in this all or nothing mentality. And especially with real estate, right? We feel like, oh, I didn't make my calls. So, and we just continue to put it off until you wake up and you're halfway through the year and you haven't even come close to accomplishing anything on your list. Whereas if you could just shake off a bad day and pick it up the next day and be like, okay, today's a new day. I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and go through the steps that I know I need to do to have a successful life, a successful business, and to be healthy and to be a good mom. And so that's my encouragement to you this year. Give yourself some grace and allow yourself to have bad days, but don't allow the bad days to destroy the entire year for you. Okay, so some other tips I have for you is keeping a visual tracker to stay motivated. I heard it on a TikTok, I think. I'm sure there's other places that I've seen this, but Jerry Seinfeld, if you I don't know. I get a lot of young girls watching these now. The ladies that have babies in your 20s. So maybe you don't know, but there was a sitcom, Jerry Seinfeld, and he actually wrote a lot of the episodes. And he was a comedian and everything. And they were like, how do you come up with material all the time? And so what he said is he had a goal to write so much every day. And every day he did it, he got to put a big X on a calendar. And his goal was to have a week, a month, 2 months with uninterrupted X's. And they actually did some studies on this and found that when you had this visual X that you went through on your calendar, and you could see, all right, I don't want to interrupt the pattern here. I don't want to interrupt my progress, that you are more motivated to keep going. So consider that. Have some sort of a visual. Maybe it's a journal, maybe it's a calendar that's by your bed. And if you accomplish everything, you get to put an X through it. Anything like that is such a great help. Okay, make sure your why is big enough. So this is something else I have an issue with, and I've noticed this with my students. Some of you have really big real estate goals, but if I ask you why, you can't give me a good enough reason. Some of you don't need your real estate income to survive because you have a spouse that has a job that's, makes enough to pay the bills, and you maybe, you have other reasons you want to sell real estate, and you think that it's to contribute, but you're not. It's really not, because you already have somebody else that's paying most of the bills, and so your money is extra. So it makes it really easy whenever something has to give, that you're the person that has to give, right? And so my point on that is, if you don't have a big enough why, if you and your family haven't attached a big enough why to your purpose for selling real estate, obviously it's helping others, but really at the end of the day, you're not running a charity. You are in business to make money, and you need to know what that money is going towards. So I want you to visualize, why are you working towards this? Is it to pay the bills? And if that's the reason, absolutely, there's going to be lots of motivation there, right? Because if you don't pay your bills, then you may not have a place to live. So, that's very important. But maybe it's, you want to take vacation, and if you ask yourself why, I want to take vacation so I can spend more time with my family, because I only have 10 more summers left with my son. Or in fact, I probably have less than that because he's 11 now. Or I only have, this many more, whatever. Like, I want to enjoy my life. I want to work to live, not live to work. And so, or maybe your goal is to buy some investment properties, because maybe you don't want to sell real estate forever. Maybe your goal is to sell enough real estate so that you become the owner and the investor, and your real estate works for you. Like, how cool would that be, right? And so whatever your goal is, whatever your why is, totally visualize that, and then get something that will represent it. So kind of think vision board, but more not necessarily for 1 year. Like, I want your big why, right? So if it's a trip to Hawaii, print out a trip to Hawaii that's going to make you remember, I'm making these goals so I can go to Hawaii. Or, I want to buy this investment property. So have the visual to represent your why, and make sure your why is big enough and you remember why you are doing what you're doing. Allow others to hold you accountable. I already kind of touched on this, but really having that coach is key. It is so important. And maybe not just a coach, it could be a community. Maybe it's a mastermind that you're joining where you're all in it together, you're all rising together. Having that can be night and day, being able to go to a group and say, I had a really crappy day, I need your help, and they can encourage you, they can give you ideas, they can help you think outside the box. It is huge for your success. And sometimes you can't find that in your local brokerage because you're actually looking at your competition. Even though, we all say, community over competition and all of that, if you're in the same market, it is a little bit harder to be truly for someone else. So that's why collaborating with people outside of your market is so powerful, because we're not in competition because we're not in the same market, right? And we shouldn't be in competition anyway. There's plenty of business, but still the human nature comes up. And if you're in a small town like me, there's a lot of overlap. So I'm not going to share everything that I do with my local agent. I'm totally going to share it with you because you're not in my market. And again, don't do it alone. Make sure you have that community around you supporting you. So these are some tips I have for reaching your goals in 2024. I hope you found something that you could relate to, you learned something. And if you need help, please let us know. We have a number of different ways that you can work with us. Something really for every budget. We have go at your own pace, as low as $9.97. And then we also have some one-on-one coaching options and group coaching options. So we are really here for you to see you succeed. And I love what I do. I love getting to see the success stories time and time again. If you haven't been watching me very long, I've been licensed for 20 years. I developed Real Estate Mega Moms while I was a boutique broker owner, with a toddler on my hip, closing anywhere from 60 to 100 transactions a year. And I did that at that time with just one assistant. Today I run a micro team, which has totally changed my life. But these systems that I teach work. I know they work because they worked for me. I'm an introvert. I'm not super outgoing. I'm much more comfortable behind a camera than I am in a big crowded room. But I'm telling you, if I can do this, you can do this. I promise. All right, moms, I will see you in the next video. Bye.